Welcome back to the deep dive. We have quite the stack of sources today, and I have to say, this one hits a little close to home. I think we need to start with the alarm clock.
Hmm.
You know that feeling, right? It goes off, and it feels like an attack. You hit snooze, you maybe doom scroll for 20 minutes, you rush to get coffee, and before you've even really started your day, you feel like you're already behind.
It's the universal modern condition. We call it drifting.
Hmm.
You aren't really driving your day, you're just being driven by it.
Right.
We're all busy, frantically busy. But are we actually effective? We're hyper connected to everything and everyone, but somehow we feel totally disconnected from ourselves.
Exactly. And the source material we're unpacking today claims to have the antidote. I mean, not just a Band-Aid, but a full-blown antidote.
Hmm.
We are looking at The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll be honest, when I first saw that title, I rolled my eyes a little. I thought, great, another hustle culture manual telling me to sleep when I'm dead. But it's different.
It is significantly different. For one, it's not a dry business textbook. It's a narrative parable. It's a story.
Which I found surprisingly engaging. It's a fiction book that teaches nonfiction lessons. It's got character arcs, plot twists.
Near-death experiences.
Yeah, all wrapped around this central philosophy.
And that philosophy is, it's bold. The premise is that the way you begin your day, specifically that first hour, dictates the quality of your entire life. Sharma presents the 5 a.m. hour not just as a time on the clock, but as a whole protocol for escaping mediocrity. He argues that rising before the sun is a keystone habit.
Right, a keystone habit. So the idea that if you nail this one thing, it lifts everything else up with it. It's the lead domino.
Precisely. If you win the morning, you win the day. And if you win enough days, you eventually win your life. It sounds so simple, but as we're about to find out, the execution is where all the magic happens.
So, our mission today is to extract the tactical stuff from this story. We want to pull out the psychological frameworks, the productivity hacks, the leadership lessons embedded in this narrative, because let's be real, for you listening right now, whether you're an executive, a student, or just someone trying to get your life together, reclaiming your focus in a world of, what does he call them, cyber zombies?
Yeah.
That's basically a superpower.
It is the ultimate competitive advantage. So let's step into the world of the book.
Okay, let's set the scene. We open at a personal optimization conference. You can picture it. Big ballroom, fancy lighting, everyone's there looking for the secret to success. And we meet our three main players. First, let's talk about the entrepreneur.
She's a fascinating case study. I mean, on paper, she's a titan. She's already won the game. She started a tech company in her college dorm room and scaled it into a marketplace dominator.
She's got it all.
She has the fleet of cars, the net worth, the accolades. She is the person everyone else in that room wants to be.
But internally, it's a complete horror show.
She is completely broken. The source material describes her as having this icy exterior, which is really just a defense mechanism, but inside she is just bleeding out.
And she's facing a coup in her own company.
Yeah, the very people she hired, investors, partners, they're conspiring to push her out because they want a bigger piece of the profit pie.
It's the ultimate betrayal, and it's driven her to a really dark place. When we meet her, she's not just stressed, she is contemplating suicide. The book calls it the dangerous deed. She's staring at a bottle of sleeping pills, thinking that checking out is the only way to stop the pain.
It really raises the stakes immediately. It's a very sharp critique of this idea that external success fixes internal problems.
Right.
We learn she suffers from what the book calls fatherless daughter syndrome. Her father passed away when she was young, and she has spent her entire life trying to fill that emotional void with capitalism. She thought, if I just build a big enough company, I'll feel safe.
And it didn't work. It's a powerful reminder right off the bat. You can be rich and still be absolutely miserable. Then, sitting near her, we have our second character, the artist.
A total contrast in energy. He's a creative, a painter. He wants to be world-class. He wants to leave a mark on the history of art, but he is just paralyzed.
Stuck.
Yeah, he's dealing with severe procrastination and self-sabotage.
Yeah.
He's that guy who has all the potential in the world, but can't seem to get out of his own way.
I think a lot of people can relate to him. That frustration of knowing you have something to give, but you're fighting your own demons.
Exactly. So you have the broken billionaire and the stuck artist.
Yeah.
And they're both watching the man on stage, who's known as the Spellbinder.
Great name, by the way, the Spellbinder.
He's an 80-year-old guru, the grandmaster of inspiration. He's frail, he's nearing the end of his life, but when he speaks, He is absolutely electric.
And his core message is about becoming.
Legendary.
Legendary, yeah. He is telling this audience that they have settled for mediocrity, that they've become cyber zombies, addicted to their devices, and that they are missing out on their primal greatness.
He's really hammering them. He's telling them that average is a disease. But then right in the middle of this huge crescendo, the inciting incident happens.
He collapses.
Just crumples to the floor. It looks like a massive heart attack or a stroke. Paramedics rush in. The crowd is screaming. It looks like the guru has died right there on stage.
And in the chaos of that moment, the entrepreneur and the artist start talking. They're sort of trauma bonded by witnessing this. And that is when they meet the character who changes everything. The twist. The homeless man.
This is a great narrative device. So they're sitting there processing this shock, and this man appears, and he looks like a derelict.
Hobo is the word used. Tattered clothes, wild hair that looks like he stuck a fork in a socket, hasn't shaved in decades.
Stains on his shirt.
Yeah, he looks like he just slept in a dumpster behind the conference center.
And he's loud. He's burping.
Mhm.
He's doing spontaneous yoga poses. He's speaking in this weird hybrid of like surfer slang and profound philosophy.
Right, he's quoting Aristotle 1 second and then saying radical dude the next.
And the entrepreneur is immediately just, get this guy away from me. She's repulsed. She's judging him so hard.
Which brings up one of the major themes of the book. Don't judge a book by its cover. Because while the entrepreneur is looking at the stains on his shirt, the artist notices something else.
On his wrist,
The watch.
a massive instrument, gunmetal dial, red and orange hands on a thick black rubber strap.
Ugh.
And the entrepreneur, being a woman of wealth, she takes one look at it and just freezes.
Because she knows what it is.
She knows exactly what it is. It's a watch worth at least $100,000.
And that cognitive dissonance, the homeless attire paired with a symbol of extreme wealth, that's the hook. It breaks their brains a little bit. The homeless man starts talking about mindsets and heart sets. He's articulate, he's wise, and he claims he has a private jet waiting on a runway.
He eventually drops the act. He reveals that he isn't actually homeless. He's Stone Riley, a billionaire business titan.
Okay, we have to unpack this. Why is a billionaire dressing like a homeless person? Is this just some eccentric rich guy thing?
It is eccentric, yes, but there is a philosophy behind it. He calls it voluntary discomfort.
Okay.
Mr. O'Reilly explains that he dresses this way occasionally to check his ego. He believes that reliance on material things is a form of what he calls fake power.
So if your confidence comes from your Italian suit, what happens when you take the suit off?
You lose the confidence.
Yeah.
Exactly. By dressing in rags, he reminds himself that his worth is internal. It keeps him humble. It keeps him gritty. He wants to prove to himself that he possesses things, but things don't possess him.
That is a very stoic concept. Seneca used to do that. Practice poverty so you aren't afraid of it. So Stone Riley, the homeless billionaire, makes them an offer. He says, I will teach you the secrets of my success. I will show you how to build an empire and a wonderful life, but there's a catch.
There is always a catch.
He says, you have to meet me tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., and you have to fly with me to my private estate in Mauritius.
Now, put yourself in their shoes. You're at a conference. A guy who looks like a drifter says, I'm secretly rich. Get on my private jet and fly to an island with me.
It sounds like the beginning of a true crime documentary.
Totally. The entrepreneur is skeptical. She thinks he's delusional or dangerous. But the artist, he's intrigued. And eventually they both realize something fundamental. Their current way of living isn't working.
Right.
The entrepreneur is ready to die. The artist is ready to quit. They need a pattern interrupt.
That's the key. Desperation opens the mind. As Mr. Riley tells them, you can't win a game you don't play. If they want different results, they have to do something radically different.
So they take the leap.
The next morning, a pristine Rolls-Royce picks them up, confirming Riley is the real deal, and takes them to a hangar. And there it is. An ivory jet with 5 AC on the tail.
5 AC standing for the 5 a.m. club. And as they board the jet and fly toward Mauritius, the teaching really begins. Mr. Riley starts dropping these knowledge bombs that set the stage for the whole protocol.
One of the first things he says, and I wrote this down in all caps because it hit me so hard, is victims love entertainment. Victors adore education.
That is a critical distinction to make. Let's break that down. He's saying that the majority of people, let's call them the 95%, spend their free time distracting themselves. After work, they switch off. They binge watch TV, they scroll social media, they play video games. They use entertainment to escape their reality.
They're numbing out.
Yes. But the top 5%, the victors, they view that time differently. They adore education. They listen to shows like this one. They read books. They go to conferences. They invest their time in their own growth.
Why?
Because they know that their level of success will never exceed their level of personal development.
It's the idea that you have to be more to have more. He also talks about comfort zones. He says, world class begins where your comfort zone ends.
Which is just a reminder that growth is inherently uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, you are stagnating. Mr. Riley emphasizes that the soreness of growth is the price of admission for a legendary life.
And he connects this to biology. He brings up the concept of epigenetics. Okay, let's get into the science a bit. Epigenetics. What does that mean in this context?
So for a long time, we thought our DNA was our destiny. If you were born with lazy genes or anxious genes, you were just stuck with them.
Right.
Epigenetics is the study of how your environment and your behaviors can actually change the expression of your genes. Think of your DNA as the hardware, but your habits are the software.
And you can upgrade the software.
Exactly. Mr. Riley is arguing that by installing the 5 a.m. habit, by exercising, by learning, you can actually upregulate your genome. You can switch on genes that were previously asleep genes for focus, resilience, energy.
So you aren't stuck with the brain you were born with.
Not at all. You can build a better one.
That is incredibly empowering. It takes the excuse of, I'm just not built that way, completely off the table.
It destroys that excuse completely.
So they land in Mauritius, and the description is just lush turquoise waters, sugar cane stalks dancing in the wind, total serenity. It's a stark contrast to the noisy, frantic city they left behind.
And that contrast is intentional. The environment is designed to facilitate deep learning. You can't rewrite your life's code when you're constantly distracted, but before they even get to the estate, the driver hands them something special.
The gold tablets.
Not iPads. Literal tablets made of solid gold.
Which is such a billionaire move. Here, read this gold. And on these tablets are the 5 rules of the morning. I think we need to go through these one by one because they really set the foundation for everything else.
Absolutely. These are the commandments of the club.
Okay, rule #1. An addiction to distraction is the death of creative production.
This goes right back to that cyber zombie concept.
Yeah.
The core argument here is about what he calls cognitive bandwidth. We only have a limited amount of attention every day. If you spend the first hour of your day reacting, checking email, looking at the news, scrolling Instagram, you are scattering your attention. You're fragmenting it.
It's like opening 50 tabs on your browser. Your computer slows down.
Exactly. Mr. Riley calls this digital dementia. The morning needs to be a sanctuary. It's a time of solitude where you can focus without the world intruding. If you want to do world-class work, you have to protect your focus like it's a fortress.
Okay, rule #2. Excuses breed no genius.
This creates a strict no whining zone. This is for the listener who says, but I'm not a morning person, or I need my sleep, or it's too cold.
Right.
Mr. Riley's point is, just because you haven't done it before doesn't mean you can't start now. He tells them to release their rationalizations. You can have excuses or you can have results. You can't have both.
Tough love. I like it. Rule #3 is one of my favorites because it's so realistic. All change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end.
This is so important for setting expectations. When you, the listener, try to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, it isn't going to feel like a Disney movie. It's going to suck. That's the hard at first phase. Your body will fight you.
Then comes the messy in the middle.
Right. That's when you're a few days or weeks in. The novelty is worn off, but the habit hasn't stuck yet. You're confused, you're tired, your old habits are wrestling with your new ones. It feels chaotic. But Mr. Riley says, if you push through that mess, you reach the gorgeous end. That's when the habit becomes automatic. That's when it becomes harder to sleep in than to get up.
Rule #4. To get the results the top 5% have, you must do what 95% are unwilling to do.
This is all about social pressure. If you start living this way, even people who love you are going to think you're weird.
Yeah.
They'll call you crazy. They'll say, why are you going to bed at 9:30? Why are you up before the birds?
You become a freak.
And Mr. Riley says you have to embrace that label. Being labeled a freak is the price of greatness. You can't live a normal life and expect abnormal results. If you want to lead, you have to be willing to leave the herd.
And finally, rule #5. When you feel like surrendering, continue. Triumph Loves the relentless.
Pure grit. It's the refusal to quit when things get difficult. It's a reminder that persistence is often more important than raw talent.
So, armed with these tablets and these rules, the entrepreneur and the artist are ready for their first morning. They meet Mr. Riley on the beach at 5 p.m. sharp,
Mm-hmm.
and the visual is hilarious. Riley is fit, tan, doing these whirls like a dervish, just bursting with energy. Meanwhile, our guests are dragging their feet, rubbing their eyes, looking like zombies.
They are suffering. But this is where the lesson shifts from philosophy to neuroscience. Mr. Riley explains why 5 a.m. is the mother of all routines. He calls it the keystone habit.
He starts talking about the flow state, and he uses a term, transient hypofrontality. Now, for the non-neuroscientists listening, can we unpack that?
Sure, let's break it down. Transient means temporary. Hypo means low or under. And frontality refers to the prefrontal cortex.
Okay, and the prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain right behind our forehead, right?
Correct. It's the CEO of the brain. It handles logic, planning, reasoning, and crucially worrying.
Ah.
It's that inner voice that says, did I send that email? Do I look stupid? What if I fail?
The inner critic, the worrier.
Exactly. Now, here's the magic of 5 a.m. Due to our circadian rhythms and the silence of that hour, the brain can enter this state of transient hypofrontality. The prefrontal cortex temporarily shuts down. It takes a break. It goes hypo.
So the inner critic goes to sleep.
Yes. And when that happens, your brain waves shift. You move from beta waves, which are high stress, alert, active, down to alpha, and even theta waves. And theta is the state you're in when you're dreaming or in deep meditation.
That's the flow state.
Precisely. It's a pharmacy of mastery. Your brain releases dopamine for inspiration, serotonin for happiness, and an anandamide, which is the bliss chemical. So at 5 a.m., you aren't just awake, you are chemically primed for genius. You have isolation, you have silence, and you have a brain state that allows for heightened perception and processing power.
That explains why so many writers and artists swear by those early hours. It's not just about discipline, it's about biology. You're accessing a different gear.
And Mr. Riley links this back to cognitive bandwidth. He explains that we wake up with a full battery of attention. Every time we check a notification or make a decision or get distracted, we leak a little bit of that energy. By the time 2.0 p.m. rolls around, we are running on fumes.
So if you do your most important work at 5 a.m., you're doing it with a full battery and zero distractions.
Correct. You are working without what he calls fragmented attention.
He also introduces a formula here, the 2x3x mindset. What is that about?
It's a formula for scaling your success. The Spellbinder mentions it. To double or 2x your income and impact, you must triple 3x your investment in personal mastery and professional capability.
So stop worrying about the output, the money, and start obsessing over the input yourself.
Yes, better human beings make better leaders. If you want your business to grow, you have to grow. You can't have an A-level company with C-level executive functioning. It justifies the time spent on the morning routine, not as a luxury, but as a strategic investment.
And it's comforting that Mr. Riley admits he hated it at first. He tells him he was cranky and tired and miserable when he started. But eventually it became automatic. It's not about being born a morning person. It's about training yourself.
That goes right back to the messy in the middle.
Now here is where the story takes another turn. They're on the beach, learning all the science, and they spot a figure in the distance. And it turns out the spellbinder didn't die.
Plot twist. He is alive.
Yeah.
He had a collapse from exhaustion, but he's recovering at Mr. Riley's estate. It turns out they're old friends. The Spellbinder was actually Mr. Riley's mentor years ago.
And seeing him again allows for a deeper discussion on power. Because remember, the entrepreneur is still obsessed with her company and the coup. She's terrified of losing her position.
Right.
And the Spellbinder gives this lecture on the beach about true power versus fake power.
This is a crucial distinction for you listening. Fake power is what most of the world chases. It is defined by external things.
Titles, money, applause.
Social status, followers, all of it.
The corner office, the Patek Philippe watch.
Exactly. And the problem with fake power is that it's fragile. It's dependent on things outside your control. If you lose your job title, do you lose your power? If you go bankrupt, do you lose your identity? If the answer is yes, you had fake power.
Which is exactly what the entrepreneur is going through. She feels powerless because her title is being threatened.
The Spellbinder contrasts this with true power. True power is an inside job. It comes from character, integrity, courage, and utilizing your original gifts. It comes from self-mastery.
So if you have true power, you can lose the job, lose the money, lose the house, and you're still
You.
Yeah.
You are still a leader. No one can take true power away from you because they didn't give it to you in the first place.
He also throws around the term shitball. It's a bit aggressive, but what's he getting at there?
It's a critique of the mass mediocritization of society. He's talking about people who blindly follow the herd. They buy things they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't like. He urges the entrepreneur and the artist to break away from that herd mentality.
And this connects to the idea of legacy versus legitimacy.
Right. Mr. Riley and the Spellbinder explained that in the first half of life, we usually chase legitimacy. We want to fit in, we want approval, we want to look good. But in the second half, or whenever you finally wake up, you shift toward legacy.
You move from me to we.
Exactly. You stop asking, what can I get? And you start asking, how can I serve? The quote is, to lead is to serve. The ultimate goal of the 5 a.m. method isn't just to get rich and have six-pack abs. It's to have the energy and clarity to contribute something meaningful to the world.
Which is a beautiful sentiment, but just as they are reaching this Zen state, the real world crashes in. We have an obstacle.
The entrepreneur breaks the rules. She checks her phone.
Big mistake. Never check the phone in the morning.
And she sees a message from her investors, the ones staging the coup. And it's not just a legal threat, it's a death threat. Leave the company, or else you die.
Talk about a buzzkill. She panics, she's hyperventilating, she's spiraling. But this moment is really included to show us the contrast. Watch Mr. Riley.
The billionaire is calm, he's composed, he takes the phone, reads the threat, and immediately signals his security team, who it turns out have been hiding in the palm trees the whole time.
Wow.
He handles the threat with absolute precision. No drama, no panic, just protocol.
And the lesson here is, pressure is a privilege.
Yes. The point isn't that if you join the 5 a.m. club, bad things won't happen. The point is that the routine prepares you to handle extreme stress. Because Mr. Riley has trained his mind and his emotions every single morning in that quiet hour, he doesn't crumble. He has armor.
It's like he's seeing the world in slow motion while she's seeing it in chaos mode.
Exactly. He views the obstacle as growth in wolf's clothing. It's just another test.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's look at the big picture. The 5 a.m. club isn't just about the alarm clock. It's about building what Mr. Riley calls the 4 interior empires. We touched on mindset, but he says that's only 25% of the equation.
This is a really important nuance. Most self-help focuses heavily on mindset. Think positive, visualize success, that's psychology. But Sharma argues that if you only work on your mindset, you're ignoring 75% of your potential.
So what are the other three?
You have heart set, health set, and soul set.
Let's break those down. Heart set.
This is your emotional life. You can have a strong mind, but if your heart is full of anger, resentment, or unhealed trauma like the entrepreneur's fatherless daughter syndrome, you will self-sabotage. You need to clear out that emotional baggage.
Health set is pretty obvious.
Physicality.
Yeah.
You can't be a titan of industry if you're dead. You need vitality to execute your vision.
And soul set.
This is the spiritual piece, not necessarily religious, but your connection to purpose, your contemplation of who you are and what you're here to do. In the busyness of life, we lose touch with our soul set. The 5 a.m. hour gives you the silence to reconnect with it.
So the morning routine is designed to optimize all four: mind, heart, body, and soul.
Correct. It's a holistic approach to being a human.
So the call to action for our listeners is pretty clear. The book offers a standard operating procedure, or SOP.
Give it a shot. Set the alarm. Rise before the sun. Do the 20-20-20 formula, which is 20 minutes of movement to make you sweat, 20 minutes of reflection like journaling or meditation, and 20 minutes of growth like learning.
And remember the rules. It will be hard at first and messy in the middle.
But the promise is that it will be gorgeous at the end.
And I want to leave you with this final thought from the story. We started with the entrepreneur contemplating the dangerous deed suicide. She was ready to end it all because she felt trapped. By the end of this section of the story, she is choosing the heroic life.
It asks the listener a profound question. Are you living a life of distraction that is slowly killing your potential? I mean, are you committing a slow-motion suicide of your own genius? Or are you willing to suffer the temporary discomfort of discipline to birth your best self?
As the homeless billionaire says, the soreness of growth is so much less expensive than the devastating costs of regret.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you at 5 a.m.
Own your morning. Elevate your life.